Welcome to the VoIP Defender World Junior Curling Championships 2016. We're in the lovely little commune of Tårnby just outside Copenhagen, and we'll be bringing you some live commentary from the Kastrup Curling Hall. My name's Sandra Olvag, and I'm joined by the lovely Alison Kraviazik. We're just down to our very first draw of the championships. The men's draw. We had the women's play this morning. First game for the men's, Denmark-Sweden, in a neighbourly battle. First off on sheet 5, sheet E. Should be quite the interesting matchup. We'll have the team lineups for you. But first we're going to have a look at the standings. Obviously no games played, but we'll see the teams participating. We have Canada, Denmark, Korea, Norway, and Russia make out the first 5 teams of the men's competition. And then we'll have Scotland, Switzerland, Sweden, Turkey and USA playing. Turkey making their first appearance at the World Junior Curling Championships. There is the lineup for Team Denmark. We'll have at lead Nicola Sky. Second player is Henrik Holterman. Third, Tobias Engelhardt, and the team is skipped by Tobias Thune. Alternate Simon Bodegård, and team coach is Bo Kleiman.
Here playing for Sweden, we've got Max Beck at lead, Jordan Wåhlin at second, Fredrik Nyman at third, Rasmus Vrona at skip, the alternate being Axel Sjöberg, and the team coach is Mats Vrona. Should be a great game.
Yeah, I've been excited. Been waiting for this for weeks now. We have a really good field in the men's. There's a lot of good teams, as we see. Just Team Norway being honoured before this draw. I believe they'll be honouring all the teams throughout the week. There's a huge piece of chocolate being awarded to the team. I saw. It was quite tempting. Tried to grab it, but
they've got it locked away.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So we'll be on our way shortly with this game. I saw Sweden with a couple of really good draws and T draw, so I'm interested to see who has the last one advantage. So team's just getting ready here, just waiting for the umpires to give them the go-ahead to have a few practice lines. Both teams obviously have a team practice before the game starts, where they get to play a few stones, and then we have this tee draw where 2 players throw 1 stone each to the center of the house, and whoever has the best average will have the last one advantage. And as I thought, Sweden did get that last one advantage with 2 very nice draws, just biting the button, both of them, so throwing the yellow stones. And we'll see Denmark throwing the red, which makes it a lot easier for us watching.
As we can see here, they're taking quite a bit of ice. I believe there's quite a bit of swing that we're going to see on this side here.
I'm just still waiting for that go-ahead from the umpires. These curlers, young curlers, very polite. They don't break the rules as much as the older ones.
Very respectful to the umpires.
Both teams will have a time clock. No time clocks. Nicola Sky is the lead for Denmark. And to see where the stone's placed, if they're going with the more defensive approach of putting it in the house or throwing up a guard. This one's starting to overcurl a wee bit though. And I do believe we'll see that swing you just mentioned, Alison. This one overcurling by many feet.
I think the players are really going to have to add on a lot of rotation on that side of the sheet.
Well, that's definitely a thing for some of the teams in this competition with not so much experience on arena ice, just playing with these aggressive stones. This might be a little bit of a challenge as we see Max Beck playing lead for Sweden. Talking to them before the game, said they were going to be rotating the front end.
Yeah, a bit of a different approach there.
Yep.
So the alternate right now, he's going to be playing for both games tomorrow.
So they have a system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have it figured out in advance, which is important. So having that discussion before, so it's not all of a sudden you're being benched for that game. Everyone agreed to it going in.
Yeah, so it's a good thing to have all those things planned out, even plan out the playoff games. If you're ever to make it there, just make sure that's taken care of beforehand. We did see Sweden throw up a guard. I thought they were looking for a corner guard. Ended up a little bit tight to the center line, so we might see that it might maybe not curl as much towards the boards, but you'll certainly see a lot of curl come from the boards and in towards the center. So I'm just going to have to look for that. Denmark putting that second stone in the house as well. Makes a little head roll away from the guard. And this is Denmark keeping it simple here, trying to remove the Swedish stone. And at some point, you're going to have to see Sweden try and make good use of the guard they put up. Henrik Holterman, second for Team Denmark.
This is really moving.
That's good enough. Maybe a little pocket now for Sweden, though. If they could ever come down to the top red and just move it back a foot and try and sit on top.
I think what we're going to see here is a double.
All right, so just keeping it a little simple here in the first end, perhaps.
Yeah, I think so. First game of the round robin. First game or first end. A little unsure of the ice conditions. I think keeping it nice and open is a pretty good strategy.
That's a very nice double indeed by Jordan Wåhlin. Just hear Sweden have a little conversation about their sweeping there, directional sweeping, if they were going to use one or two sweepers on takeouts. It's a bit of a new thing of the season. There's been a lot of discussions and stuff. We just banned the hair brushes. They were too efficient for the sport.
I think it was a very wise move.
Yeah, I've played a few competitions with the hair and playing against teams with the hair. It was a bit of a mayhem at some point. So just going back to the more game we're more familiar with, I think, banning the hairbrushes, and I don't think we'll see too many abrasive pads out here. There's been some controls, and I don't think it's going to affect the game too much this week.
No, and they've got the regulations about which angle the brush needs to be at, a 45-degree angle.
Yeah, so trying to keep it a little bit side to side here. As we'll see Sweden come around the guard. Just going to nibble the top of the 8-foot. So very hard to get to that Yellowstone. Denmark looking to freeze it. Just try and maybe corner freeze it. The other option could have been to maybe run the guard back. Tobias Engelhardt playing third for Team Denmark. Playing on home soil. Do you think that does it make a difference, Alison? You've been all around the world and played all these big events.
I'm not sure about all around the world. This is a new one for me. Never been to Denmark before, so this was pretty exciting. But definitely being on home territory, you've got probably quite a bit of support group up in the stands, and you're familiar with the food and probably what restaurants in the area and a whole lot of things that can work to your advantage. Not sure if they've practiced at this club before, but I would imagine so.
Yeah.
I would hope so, having them so close.
We had a bit of a miss from Denmark there, allowing Sweden to split the house now. Fredrik Nyman going to draw to the wing here in lie 2. And it's a bit of a decision then for Denmark if they want to hit this one and roll back. They left a little high there. Could have drawn that a little further back in the house.
Take away the hit and roll here. Right now, Denmark has a pretty good opportunity to roll behind that guard. Try and bury one in. A little out of tolerance there, just hitting and rolling on the wrong side. This gives Sweden a pretty good chance to find their draw weight so early in the game.
Yeah, especially moving from the center line and out. Sweden with second practice had a good chance to find a draw weight on the T draw, but that was drawing towards the forefoot. Speed might be a little different coming out towards the wings, might be a little slower.
Absolutely.
And this one they will draw a little deeper than the previous one.
Maybe too deep. Yeah.
I believe so. It looked like they were happy with that, but just keened up a little bit. They threw a shot down there, and the last one swept it. Sometimes that's all it takes.
Yeah, but again, that could be a really good indication for them how much the ice is keening up after just one shot down the path. Not quite sure what he's calling here.
Well, maybe
he thinks it's in.
Didn't look in from our angle, but camera lies a few times.
They have better eyes
might just
than
be
us.
nibbling in the back there. The young eyes.
Yes.
Decent slide from Tobias Tune. Squared shoulders coming out nicely from the hack. Does make the nose hit, but will only sit for second shot. So just allowing Sweden to play the same draw again.
Sweden's going to try and freeze to this back one. Could definitely try and get 3 in the mix here by doing this.
So we're going to have our first look at Rasmus Vrano playing fourth stones for Sweden. He did represent Sweden at the World Junior Championships in Östersund 2012, so he knows everything about playing on home soil. He's not too far away from home this year, though. I remember that championship quite well. I lost to Matt Rasmus in the semi-final, so
a bit of a
holding quite the grudge.
In your mouth. And the Vrana family, we've got sister Isabella, who represented Sweden last year at the World Championships. And we've got Mats Vrana, the coach and father. Curling family.
Playing the hit here out in the wing. Just trying not to jam it, and they won't. Just peeling that out, and then Sweden will have the chance to score 2 here.
Yeah.
Looking to just play the same shot, draw the wing.
Guess he didn't want to play it too cute on this one. Just making sure that He definitely did not clip. Oh, he hit the rock on the side there.
It's quite impressive to think that Rasmus was the team he played with back then. It was 2012. It was 4 years ago. So he was a fairly young player, and they got the silver medal, only losing out to Brendan Botcher in the final. So,
who of course has been extremely successful since his junior years.
it'll be interesting to see how he's developed, Rasmus. 4 years, that's certainly can develop a lot as a curling player in that time frame. And we'll see him score 2 here, or Sweden scores 2 in the very first end. Definitely the start you're looking for to your championship week. We will see Sweden then start off the second end, because obviously when you score, you need to start the next end. Denmark will have the last on advantage.
Over curling a little bit here. Just really need to make sure that perhaps they need to sweep it a little bit early in the beginning, drag out the rock. It's going to be a little bit tricky for them, for both teams, to figure out that side. Not sure how many he had down the ice. I can count the next one, but it didn't look like. And this is kind of what I'm talking about here. So as you can see, the rotation around 2 really loses the rotation at the end.
It's a bit of an interesting call here from Sweden, playing the run back on the lead second stone. Or just peeling the guard, actually.
Yeah.
Keeping it simple.
First shot called. He wanted it in the rings, so just keeping it open.
Tilan, tæt, forkant. To tæt, og Tobias har. Ja, Tobias kører. Tryk til, kom nu. Godt faret. Den kører bare simpelthen. Til sidst, ikke? Det.
So now we'll see the run back here. Just get both reds out. Nice and close, so the double's not too hard to get to. Almost gets a roll in the rings in the process.
This is definitely what I remember from that Swedish team I played in Östersund 4 years ago. They were just on fire with all the upweight shots, just making all the doubles and run backs and everything. It was just impossible to get any stones in play.
Sounds kind of like Nicholas's team.
Yeah. Sounds like any Swedish
Yeah.
team ever, really.
T-line! 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 T-line!
Less on press. Whoa! Whoa!
I remember Denmark did win the World Junior gold medal back in 2009 in Vancouver. Rasmus Sterne was skipping the team back then. And the following season, he got the silver medal at the European Championships. So, very established curling player today. I believe he beat Canada in the final, Brett Gallant, and he plays for Brett Gushu now. As we all know, the Brier Canadian Championship is ongoing over there. We're definitely seeing players from the World Junior Curling Championships make the step up to the men's curling fairly quickly nowadays. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see a good handful of players from this event start playing in the big leagues in a couple of years.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. Well, we've already got on the Canadian boys. They did extremely well at the men's provincials, almost getting to the Brier, which in turn they wouldn't have been able to go to, but doing extremely well in the men's circuit.
I think you'll definitely see Canada having a little bit of pressure on them perhaps this week. The big bad wolf, the big favorites. We also have Switzerland. Yannick Schwaller's team, silver medal last year, won the gold 2 years ago. They'll definitely be contenders. And
The Scottish team.
Scottish
There's a
team.
lot of really strong teams here.
yeah, it's going to make for a very interesting week. And I think also Sweden will be in the mix. Denmark may be one of the teams with the more less experience, but yeah, we'll see how the week pans out.
Och sen kan du kasta sängen i väggen om du vill. Normalt. Lite hårt!
I'll try and keep you all updated on the other scores in the arena as well. For now, we've seen Switzerland play Turkey on sheet A. Switzerland was forced to take a single in the first end. Scotland is facing off against Norway on sheet B, where we saw Scotland score 8-2 in the first end. Canada, the same, scored 8-2 in the first end with the last one against USA. The first end between Korea and Russia was blanked, so no score there yet. There's a chance we won't get a score in our future game right here. Not too many stones in play for Denmark. Not taking too many risks either at this point.
No, there's no need to at this point. Oh,
Den skal falde meget ned der. Du har stenen.
Just maybe threw that all about inside out, but
he didn't look too happy with his throw.
no.
Sweepers and everyone basically backed off altogether, hoping that it would come up, I guess.
Hans Newman. Oh, sorry. Frederick
Frederick.
Newman, obviously the father, is Hans Newman, the Iceman.
Yep.
Well, Frederick works as an ice cream maker, which I remember you didn't believe last year.
I didn't.
I know.
His bio was a little misleading.
Yeah, I'm quite sure we discovered that he didn't speak Swahili,
No.
but he's an ice cream maker, and I do believe he has or still working as an ice man as well, an ice maker for curling ice.
Yeah, he still has ice cream maker listed in his occupation here, so we'll have a little discussion with him later and see how that's going.
Nej, vi spiller hardfarten. 15.
Well, I know when I tell people I'm an ice maker, they're all very disappointed as soon as I tell them it's about curling, not making actual ice cream.
Well, you know, it's a talent that not many people have, including myself, which I found out this year.
certainly have a very good ice making crew for the week. Mark Callan will be the head ice technician. Forever, anyone that follows curling in the big events or played them, we all know Mark Callan. And his crew will provide some very good playing surfaces for the teams this week.
Fantastic. He was in Dumfries last weekend at the mixed doubles event going on there, and got to talk to him a little bit before heading out here. Fantastic ice maker.
I'll see Sweden being able to put some pressure on Denmark here with a bit of a missed shot there. Already lying one, not trying to draw. Maybe just halfway around the discard. Set 2. Definitely swinging less towards the boards. Not taking too much ice for this draw.
Yeah, I think a little bit of a overcorrection on Denmark's last one. Just thinking maybe, oh, it'll curl, and pitching it a little bit wide. And
didn't quite catch if they're just throwing the guard.
I believe they were.
Yeah, I think so. They were saying it was a good weight.
Yeah.
Just over curled slightly there. Wanted to be a little closer to the center line.
Yeah. One thing that Frederick did put on his bio from this year, though, which we'll also have to ask about, is apparently he writes poems. I'll get him to recite something for me, maybe. He's a funny guy.
I think I know where he gets it from.
Yeah. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
All right, so Denmark made a decision here. They were thinking either to just play this with a draw weight and just tap it back a little bit and try and sit in front, or the other option was to just come after with a bit of hack weight and try to punch it out the rings. Actually not 100% sure what they've gone for. It looks like probably the hack weight shot.
Looks like you are correct, sir.
Calling hack out his hand here. Not sure if they'll be able to get a roll. Definitely trying to. Yeah, just rolling away from the guards here, trying to make that roll back for Sweden quite difficult. But they're going to try and have a go. If Sweden can never make a perfect roll in behind the guards, they'll force Denmark to take their single point.
Not sure they could quite understand the skip there. There was a lot of normal.
Definitely throwing normal weight here. You can see just the one sweeper in action here, just kind of sweeping against the curl. Trying to keep it straight. It's the kind of thing that we just kind of discovered this season, I guess. How what sweeping actually does to the ice. And what it apparently, from what I've experienced or heard, is just it's making structures in the ice. And that's sort of what the stones are sort of following. So when you're making structures against the curl, it makes it a little harder for the stone to bend, really.
Yep.
And then you can do the opposite sweep with the curl to make it curl a little more. But using the fabrics they're allowed to use this week, and they're not going to have an excessive effect on it, but a few inches here and there. And it is a game about perfection. So
Yeah, the fascinating thing is that there's always developments. Something always new in sweeping. It's really fun to look at the new results and all the testing's done.
well, that was a blank then for Denmark. Rasmus Vrano just rolling out on his last stone, allowing Denmark to throw their last stone through. They do that to keep the advantage of last stone. Get to try again. So we see Max Beck's numbers up at 81%. Just had that one miss, I think. Dropping the center guard in the previous end. So I'll be looking to not do that in this third end.
Line looks pretty good on this one. And great brush by the sweepers here to get it to the forefoot. That is quite a bit of ice for a corner guard on the other side. Holy.
Yeah, maybe just a slight lazy handle from Nikolai Skau. Doesn't look too bad actually.
No.
It's just very often the end sheets in curling clubs are a little tricky. And we will actually be covering sheets 1 and 5 throughout the week. So, I think you and me, Alison, we're going to be experts on these sheets, and the players will be coming to us to ask, how is the ice?
Yeah.
And
How
does
should
it, how
I
does it
throw?
work? Yeah.
Jaha, okej där.
That corner guard ends up in a really nice spot. So. Now, Alison, you are the expert.
Am I?
And that's why the World Curling Federation hired you anyway.
Oh, okay.
Would you care to explain why you put up a corner guard when you have the last stone advantage?
Yeah, so we want to keep the front of the house open. Worst case scenario, you draw for 1, but just making sure it's open and giving your skip a chance in case something horrible goes wrong, which hopefully there is not. But
Han säger ingenting.
so right now, Denmark's going to try and throw a hit and roll.
Yeah, just basically trying to keep that center open and move the play over to the side.
Yeah, exactly.
Ja, jag vet. Jag tror vi skulle täcka ut egen.
I believe you won't be able to remove both the yellow stones here. Just the back one probably, if he's making the rule. Just need a girl to touch more.
Yeah.
Skip just telling, well, that you threw that pretty hard. I wasn't quite expecting that.
Your Danish is very good.
Well, yeah. For everyone out there, if you didn't know, I am Norwegian.
Yeah.
We do Norwegian, Swedish, and then Danish is fairly similar. So at least I'll be able to provide something helpful.
Yeah,
for this game.
sorry guys, I won't be able to to provide that. I have a very hard time understanding Danish.
But your Swedish is picking up.
Yeah, it's getting there. So I might be able to tell you a little bit what the Swedish team is talking about, but vice versa, not looking promising.
So Sweden with 2 stones in behind the corner guard here. And I guess if this was down to the last stone for Denmark, now everything's on the side and the center is open and Skip can just draw the forfeit for 1.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you meant. So there's nothing too scary for Denmark, even though Sweden are lying 2. They can, without risk, try and create something here on the wing.
Yeah, play with these rocks a little bit. Try and push something to the back or freeze. But quite a bit of a miss there. It's going to over curl by quite a bit, so Rasmus is just going to peel this out of play.
Yeah, you might see some teams tempted to draw around here. So think, oh, now it's a center guard.
Yeah,
We're lying
exactly.
to come around here and put some pressure on, but looks like the Swedish team are just being very
Very cautious.
cautious and patient.
Yep.
They know they have a 2-point lead. They don't really have to do anything.
I think patience is a very good word there.
It is a 10-end game, so
Yeah, you don't need to win it in the third end.
no.
No.
As long as your opponent's not scoring and you have a 2-point lead, I guess you're quite happy.
There you go.
And sometimes it is a little frustrating for the opponent that's trailing as well. It's not getting any stones in play. It's going to be so precise on every single shot. I think Sweden is definitely one of those teams you don't want to be trailing against.
No,
It's really hard to come
agree.
back. And now Denmark doesn't make that double, so Sweden has a chance to split the house. And
Try and get a force that way.
yeah,
Yeah.
what is a force?
Thank you for the question, Sander.
Just for the non-curlers out there.
The force meaning the team with hammer is forced to take 1 point. So the other team lying 2 or more, or basically not giving the other team a chance for 2 or more points. So the term forced is used there. Kind of exactly explains exactly what the situation is.
Yeah.
You're forced to take 1 point.
I believe the whole tactic of curling is to score 2 yourself and
Yeah,
then force your
exactly.
opponent to take 1 point, and shouldn't do that throughout the game.
Yeah, you don't want to take the 1 point. You're forced to take the 1 point.
Also heard you use the word hammer there as well. And that would be the nickname for the last stone advantage in curling. Just if not everyone's following the lingo here. Tobias Engelhardt having a bit of a rough start to the game, but certainly a lot of ends to go. Could definitely boost those numbers with a good whole hit and roll here. But again, from Tobias, we're just seeing maybe not the right tolerance, rolling further out there.
Yeah, just
Rolling.
a bit on the wrong side.
Yeah, I was trying to roll towards that other Yellowstone and try and group them, and then possibly have a chance to play a double, and again blanked in and retain the hammer. And again, Sweden's just going to try and do the opposite, just keep their stones separated.
Perfect for them would be to just hit and stick right here. Just hit it right on the nose. But he will get a roll in, so grouping those 2 yellows a little bit closer together now.
Yeah, now Denmark just realizing, well, now that the Yellowstone's on the center line, it makes more sense to hit the stone on the wing and roll in front. And definitely getting closer to grouping those stones for a potential double takeout. See, they're throwing quite a lot of weight for these little hit and rolls. Is there any way we could throw these maybe a little softer?
I think some teams tend to throw a little bit more up weight when the ice is a little unpredictable. Throwing up weight, you can guarantee your rock's going to go in a straighter path, and with the ice that we're seeing right now, it is quite curly, so yeah, playing it safe, I guess you could say.
Sure.
But definitely, I mean, tolerance there was definitely to keep your shooter in the rings. So ideally, the down weight is the weight you would want to call, but perhaps a little nervous, not quite sure yet of the ice. So
I think we might see that progress over the week. You might see teams maybe playing a little softer weights when they get used to the ice conditions.
Köra mycket. Köra mycket, Max. Max. Max och någon.
So again, Sweden just splitting the rings, and Rasmus Vrano getting another chance to practice his draw weight. You see sweepers working really hard to get this one into the house at all. And just a nibble, I believe.
And from our angle here, it looks on.
Där har det inte gått en sten här alltså.
Striking band is what counts for the stones, so you should be looking underneath the stone, but directly above the stone.
And throughout the week, when we start to see some measures take place, we'll be able to see if the rings are accurate.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah, I'm sure so too, but
Ever experienced a measure where you thought the stone was outside or inside and it proved the opposite? Like you were shocked?
oh, yes, but I couldn't tell you what the situation was. I know that we were playing against Kelly Scott at the Scotties, but I could not tell you. If you asked Emma, with her incredible memory, she'd be able to tell you, oh yeah, you know, we were up by 2 in the 4th end and blah, blah. But it does happen. There's some things that come back and you think, oh, that's definitely out. No problem. We'll just throw it through the house. Blank the end.
Yeah.
Oh, surprise.
I guess you were referring to Emma Mescu then?
Yes,
Your
I was.
former
Sorry. Thank
teammates?
you.
Allison used to play with Rachel Holman. One of the best teams in the world.
Yeah, they are doing extremely well this season, that's for sure. Having a little bit of a difficult time at provincials to get to the national championships, but
Yeah, it's just because they don't have you anymore.
oh, aren't you sweet? That could also go for why they were maybe so successful at the beginning of the season.
Well, I clearly remember at Nationals where we were going to blank the end and we end up nosing it. And then we threw the stick at the stone that was outside the house just to, just to do it. And it was just scraping the end of the stone. So, well, that's it then. So we scored 2. Hey.
There you go. Well, it worked in your favor then.
Yeah.
It's the worst when it's
The
the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, down to the last stone.
Rasmus putting up a really good draw into the top 4 foot there, forcing him to make the double or throw the draw for the 1 point. Because of course, if he knows the front one, the back would be shot stone. If we were to jam it.
Big weight here from Tobias Tune. Last stone of the 3rd end. Pretty close, I think. There we go. You didn't see it, but they both went. And Denmark scores 1. I wonder if it was actually trying to even blank it there, because it wasn't far off rolling the shooter out.
No, but I don't think the sweeper was. He wasn't on it to try and do that. So my guess would be no.
No.
Try and take the single.
Definitely possible, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think they'll be happy enough to score their 1 there. Great shot by the Danish skip. But they will trail Sweden by 1 point after 3 ends. And then we'll see how Sweden will play out their 4th end. Probably just going to keep it simple again and see if they can score an easy deuce. A couple of points.
We've got some updates from the other sheets. So Switzerland is still up 1-0 over Turkey.
No, they scored a 1 on the 3rd.
Oh, okay. There you go.
It's just coming in here.
There we go. Perfect. Do you have the...
Oh, so it's 1-1. Switzerland, Turkey, 1 each, actually. After 3.
Oh.
But do tell. Do carry on.
Alrighty. We've got Canada stealing 2 in the third, so they're up 4-0 over the United States. And Russia took a 3 against Korea in the third end, bringing them up 3-0. And Scotland, Norway. Scotland taking 2 in the first, and so far no update for the third as far as I have here. So still 2-0 for Scotland, Norway.
That doesn't surprise me. The Norwegian team they're known for spending a lot of time. I played the bronze medal game in the nationals against those boys last year. We played 10 ends plus 1 extra end, and it was like 3.5 hours.
Oy.
Well, I think it was closer to 4 hours, actually. I'm not putting all the blame on them, but they've been trying to pace up their game a little bit, I know, but so far the slowest sheet out there.
And like you said, so there are no time clocks for the event, so the teams are going to have to monitor that themselves.
I'm sure the umpires will warn them if they're playing too slowly and so on.
Perhaps the coaches too at the fifth end.
Sure.
Känns hårdare?
Ja, lite. Kanske lite.
Avtal! 4. Bra linje! 10! Jättebra linje! Bara fart! Jättebra linje, bara fart! Ja, det är bra fart. Bara linje. Är det lite dutt eller? Kan dutta den. Kör, ja. Kom igen, lite dutt. Kom igen. Bra. Bra.
So I believe Max Beck is the player that will be alternating between playing lead and second throughout the week, while the 2 other front-end players will stick to their lead and second position throughout the week. Like we just mentioned, how they'll be rotating the front-end Team Sweden, but keeping the back-end solid with Fredrik Nyman and Rasmus Vrano.
You don't see that too often.
Well, I remember at least Germany with Andy Kapp, they used to do that all the time. Maybe 5, and I think it's more just because they were obviously not all professional curling players, and they had, lives and jobs, family, and so on. So it could be hard to be 4 people at every single event throughout a season, and that way you have 5 players. It's easier to have to play more events, and when they got to a championship, I guess everyone had to play because everyone participated over the course of a season.
One team that is doing that regularly as well is Tracy Fleury, formerly Tracy Horgan. Their team has got a 5-man rotation as well, bringing on Crystal Webster this past season.
My personal opinion, I think having 4 players is probably the best. It's consistent, but surely having 5 players has its upsides too.
Yeah.
If you ever have a person that's sick, there you go. You have 4 players, and you all know how to play with each other. The other teams in the competition will usually just pick an alternate for one of their from another team in their nation, and they wouldn't necessarily know each other that well on ice.
Bare tag garden ren, vi spiller indenfra igen. 10.
Denmark's going to peel the guard.
Whoa. Yeah.
Maybe not looking too happy with that throw.
Whoa, yes! Whoa!
Might be catching the back one. Yep.
Oh, it's getting it a double. There we go.
Plan B?
Plan B.
Did you say?
Definitely. I was having a bit of a chuckle over that, so.
Det er det, vi spillede efter, ikke?
I think that's one I would think that's when I'd turn to my opponent and say sorry.
Well, that's just because you're Canadian.
Yeah, I was just going to say. It's the Canadian in me.
Well, you do see that sometimes, or a lot of times actually, in curling. If you make a shot you weren't supposed to make, you do say sorry. It's sort of the gentleman thing to do. But it's not like in snooker where you have to call a shot, and if you don't make it,
Right.
it's an error.
Right.
That'd
Curling,
be
you can have whatever type of
luck.
B, C, plan F.
Yes.
Works out all the same.
Well, that's why he's throwing it that way, though. So that was a good call by the skip to peel it that way. If they would peel it on the other side and miss, they wouldn't hit anything.
Absolutely. Great tolerance.
So Sweden just drawing around the guard again. And now Denmark coming after it.
Fin fart.
Probably just calling a freeze here, maybe a little tap.
Looks a little heavy. So sweeper saying they need to wick, but
Well, they were calling T-line for most of it.
yeah.
Coming down the ice there, and it's clearly heavy, so a bit of a miscommunication there. That's certainly how it works. The sweepers will tell the skip how, well, the weight of the stone, and then the skip's going to have to calculate what to do with it in terms of sweeping. But obviously when he's getting misinformation, it makes it very hard to make a good call.
Yeah, as a sweeper, always making sure that you communicate with your skip the weight of the stone so that they're able to figure out those plan B, C, and Ds in case it's not exactly what the skip had originally called.
So Sweden wanting to come into the house there. They didn't really want to put up another guard, but they have. So actually a chance for Denmark to come around that stone and lie shot in behind some cover. And I can tell you Norway scored a single on Scotland after in the third end. Trying to sweep this, keeping the line here to get around the guard. This one just
Coming up quite a bit light.
yes. More a problem with the weight there, yeah.
Yeah. Bit of an overcorrection, I think. Throwing one through the house and then just pulling the strings on the second one.
Vi ligger ekstremt dårligt.
Sorry, that might happen a few times where I'll just laugh for no apparent reason. But that's just because I understand what they're talking about. I will do is translate, though. It was just one of the Danish players saying, yeah, we're in big trouble. And that's true. They are in big trouble if Sweden puts a good draw in here. And so maybe want to have another foot.
That's pretty darn good, though.
What do you do if you're Denmark?
You need to clear some of that up. This is not looking great for them. Of course, they do have the draw to the forefoot still. But Sweden having the hammer, it's a little tricky. That run back is pretty tight, but there, definitely.
I think what he's saying is going to run this red guard back and pick off two guards, or run it past it and get the stones in the house. they have both options there. I think definitely running it back to the standards in the house would maybe be the better option right now. He will peel off the guards and roll the shooter away, so it's definitely helping. But I wonder if he might have blocked the out-turn draw just a tiny bit. We'll see. It was important to roll that shooter away as much as possible.
Ja. Den är bra, va? Ja, jag tror det. Då lämnar vi en typ dragning här, den är jävligt svår.
Ja, just det.
Men alltså, tänk om vi drar en helt hit. Eller här. Då kan vi skjuta den ifall han rundar. Han kommer aldrig runda om vi ligger 3 för sig, va?
Jag tycker vi ska nästan...
Ja, bara vi inte lägger upp trippen där.
Bara vi inte lägger upp den där.
Ja,
så är det liksom.
jag tycker den här är bra.
Att, det enda faran med den som jag säger, det är att han sätter dubbeln och vikten hit. Så han ligger bättre fortfarande. Men det är ju en svår stund.
Ja, då får vi dra in för ett.
Ja, jag håller med. Bra.
Ja.
Men vad är marginalen då?
So the boys right now looking to make sure they're not setting up any triples or doubles.
Topp 12. Göm bakom gard. Shit, det här.
The handle's just a bit loose there on Rasmus.
Det gör inget om vi går på... Ifall den är lite hårdare så kan vi nog gå på splitten.
So I think they're trying to draw around the guard here, just top 12, half buried.
Yep.
Something like that.
Yep.
That's not going to leave any doubles for Denmark. It's only going to leave the out-turn draw, and according to Fredrik Nyman, that was pretty tough to draw to make. So.
Absolutely. You have to come pretty tight to that guard. Leaving a bit of a pocket there, so leaving a double. 2 options for the double here. Could slash the top one to the one in the forefoot.
Og hvis du laver den her, så giver du ham 3. Han skal ikke have mere end 2, så det er slut.
Jamen, altså, hvis du spiller hårdt nok og rammer den der tynd, så er den jo alligevel...
Ja, hvis du ikke gør, så står den her, og så ruller vi af, så spiller indlæg, så har han 3, så er kampen slut. Hvis vi spiller dobblen her, så skal han trods alt lave indlægget for at få sin 2'er. Ja. Og selv hvis han har 2, så er kampen ikke slut, for så svarer vi igen med en 2'er, og så stiller vi en, og så er den gedbarberet.
Ja, selvfølgelig.
Så jeg kan faktisk bedre lige bare tage dobblen.
Okay.
Translator?
Yeah, just his wife escaped there. I guess he was thinking if there was the triple was on to catch it thin. But Skip just not liking that call, saying, well, if I miss the other stone, I'll just jam it and I'll give up 3. And giving up 3 at this point, he's just saying that, well, that's game over for us. We're 4 down against these guys, so he's much happier just playing the double and give up the deuce and saying, well, 3 down or still have a good chance to come back in the game. So the triple probably looks fairly tough as well.
Yeah.
8. Vi spiller dobblen, så giver vi ham draget til 2, og så tager vi en 2'er i næste ende. Tag en mindre!
A good positive game plan, telling his sweepers, you know, just play the double, give them 2, and then we're going to score 2 in the next.
Yeah, that's smart. No matter what, you're going to be giving them 2 here. So whether you make the double on the top 2, and then they draw for 2, or you make the slash double here, and your shooter's going to roll, then they just draw even more to the open house here. So bit of a lose-lose for them, but getting a double here would definitely help their cause and not giving up a 3-pointer.
Perfect double.
Great shot.
He's made a couple of cracking shots so far. Knows it really knows how to play that weight. But certainly, it's just not the best feeling. You play a really good double and you're still giving up the 2.
Yeah. Well, it could be worse.
That's true. So it will be a fairly simple draw for Sweden. Just needs to hit the paint here, and it's a score of 2. So far, their game plan working out really well for them. Scoring 2 and forced the single, and now looks like they're scoring 2 again. So
Classic strategy.
yeah. And there we are. We'll find the forfeit. And Sweden very much in control now after 4 ends.
I think we're going to see a pretty defensive Swedish team from now on. Not that it wasn't overly offensive before, but even more so. Max is here, we're going to see coming in the rings. Don't need any guards at this point.
See, Max will slide with a hairbrush. That is allowed. To use a hairbrush as a sliding tool. You're just not allowed to sweep with it. Some curlers just like the feel of the hairbrush. They're generally made out of wood.
A little bit heavier.
Yep. It's a little bit different. I just have been a little back and forth.
Bit of a miss there. Coming up short.
Yeah, we saw that happen once earlier in the game, and he was asked to peel the center guard on his next shot, so we might see that happen again.
I think so.
Taking still a lot of ice for the corner guard, but I wonder if you'll see it curl less coming this way. Towards the barrier.
Got a few quick updates for the 4th end. So Switzerland taking a 4 in the 4th end, so they're up 5-1 over Turkey. Scotland took 1 point in the 4th, so they are up 3-1 over Norway. Canada gave up 1 against the United States, so it's 4-1 for Canada. And Korea versus Russia, still 3-0 for Russia.
Well, thank you very much.
Oh, you are most welcome.
And we will not see Max peel the center guard this time. He's going to come around it. Maybe just feeling that guard's fairly tight to the house, so not making too many problems for them.
I think he's going to kill his sweepers early on in the competition, though.
Yeah,
Good thing they have the 5-person rotation.
Well, I played lead for a number of years, and I tried to, not make them sweep too much.
I want to bring them into the picture a little bit, but
no, just a little bit.
Probably don't want to kill them first game.
No. Definitely use your sweepers. I mean, that's why they're there.
Yep.
And I assume these guys are quite fit.
Yeah, Max was flexing his muscles before the game. He missed that.
Det kan bli så att vi får så där. Det gör inget.
Rasmus just telling his team that we might peel the corner, and then we might just get some action on the center guard, but he said, well, that's fine if we do so. No harm. And they will just tap that guard just a tiny bit closer to the house. That's fine.
Jordan having a very solid game at 100% so far. And that one definitely helping his statistics as well.
We'll just see Denmark throw up the corner guard here, protecting that shot stone. Just hear the skip Tobias before the end started. He's just telling his team, now we're going to score 2, and we don't need more than 2. And we're happy with 2, so. I don't think they're going to be too audacious, trying to score more than 2, but certainly this corner guard slipping into the rings might make it a little hard for them to even score their 2 now. They're quite frozen, so we're going to have to throw a weight here to make them go, but if there's ever a team to throw the up weight,
It's this one.
Söta bror, as we call them in Norwegian. Sweet brother, that's what it means. Our neighbor. Not quite sure what the Danes call them.
No idea.
And there we go. The red stones will be flying.
Great shot.
But there's still a guard in play for Denmark, if they would ever like to use it. Preferably you'd try and utilize a corner guard rather than center ground, like we were talking about earlier. You want to keep that center line open, so you always have a chance to score. But when you're 3 down, you might just want to have to take a few risks, but we also talked about patience, and I think that's what we're seeing here from Denmark. Just kind of seeing that this end is not panning out like they were hoping.
Try again next end.
Yep. So they're probably just going to go for the blank.
Yep. Yes. Yep. Yep.
Just over curling on an occasion. It's almost like they've should have stopped sweeping there and actually curl a bit more.
Yeah.
Gotten the slash, but sometimes it is a bit too late to do so. Spins 1 red into the house. Neiman also with some solid numbers so far. 94%. Makes a little nice hit and roll to line 2.
Rolls a little bit further in, so allowing Denmark to try and throw the double here.
Yes! Oh! Oh! Yes!
Yep.
Hot!
Yep.
Oh! Yes!
And just a little bit late on the curl there. Just letting it curl a little bit more. Just catching the back end of that yellow stone. But I'm not quite sure the weight would have been there to get both of those yellow stones to go.
That was pretty flat double.
Yeah.
I was able to roll to the wing here. And I was going to say that Sweden might have a hard time rolling back and separating the yellows, but
There you go.
yeah, they did. Got to the inside and rolled over.
A little tight to that top yellow, though. Probably a little bit more than they would have wanted.
Nej, men jag låg inte berätta va.
Kör in.
Det är ingen fara att kasta på er hur mycket som helst.
Det är perfekt hela tiden.
Yes, hele vejen! Hot! Yes! Lidt smart.
So Engelhardt just having a bit of a rough start to the week, to the game, at least.
Yeah. Looks like it's not affecting his spirits too much, though. He seems to be in a decent frame of mind, just giving his skipper a little bit of a high five there. Which is always good to see, even when you're struggling, to make sure that you're mentally still in the game.
Rasmus has a bit of a tuck to his slide.
Jordan, kolla upp lite.
Call it like not quite the Manitoba tuck, but a little bit.
Är det lång eller?
It's kind of up on his toe,
Yeah.
lifting his heel.
Kör. Den är där. Det var kör. Kör. Jo.
Manitoba tuck, for those who don't know what that is just how, well, people from Manitoba play curling, how they slide. And we'll see a very good example of that later in the week when we will have Canada playing, team from Manitoba, where well, almost all of them have a Manitoba tuck slide, at least 3 of them.
Oh.
I only believe Kyle Deering is the one that hasn't had quite that corn broom tuck slide, but the rest of them do. And Tobias Tooney here has more of the traditional curling slide, as we see him make a great double.
Great shot.
The third one he's made this game. He's got that upweight shot in his back pocket, that's for sure.
Really, really bailing his team out of some tricky situations. He's having a great game so far.
Benedict Cumberbatch, perhaps?
His doppelganger.
It's one of our Swedes in the production team thought he looked a bit alike.
I think so.
It's not far off.
No, I can see it.
Ren. Wow. Nej.
And Sweden makes a nose hit, so Denmark will get a chance to blank the end, as ended up being their plan halfway through this end. And they'll try and retain the last one advantage and go again.
Det er lige før, vi skulle spille den her, hvor vi ved, den kører lige. Ej, ikke noget, vent lige. Jeg er ikke lige fundet ud af, hvor jeg vil spille den fra. Øjeblik!
Yeah, Tobias has a nickname, just Thune as his nickname.
Surname.
Yeah, but his nickname is what he has it listed at too. So
Sure.
I think we should call him like Sherlock or something.
Because Benedict Cumberbatch plays Sherlock Holmes?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not all that updated on these young shows, you know, I'm getting old.
Getting old. Stop it.
Well, at least there's one player on the field here that I've played against in juniors. But still makes me feel a little bit old.
I haven't played any of them.
Juniors are the same age every year. All right, so Denmark just finally deciding what way to throw this peel. On the end turn was maybe a little touch wide on it, but was it good enough to make a peel and blank the end. Scoreline will still be 4 shots to 1 in favor of Sweden as we enter the halftime break. After 5 ends, we'll see both teams just come off the ice for a few minutes and get a chance to talk to their coach and their alternate. As I see Axel Sjöberg is coming out with some fruit, I believe. And now we're getting the wide shot of the other games in action. We'll be back just in a couple of minutes with the remainder of this first game in the men's draw. And of course, we'll provide you with some more updates when we come back. First end of the game between Denmark and Sweden. Would just be a simple draw for Rasmus Vrano. Draw the wing and score his 2. Denmark with last stone in the third end after a blank in the second, facing 2 yellow counters, and it's Danish skip Tobias Thune coming out with the big shot, doubling off the yellows and scoring 1, but still trailing Sweden by 1 point after 3. Entering the fourth end, we saw Tobias Thune make another great double, but still allowing Sweden to draw for 2, and no problems there from Rasmus Vrano as he enters the forfeit to score 2 and lead the game 4-1 after 4. And in the fifth end, we saw Denmark not really getting any stones in play. And on the last stone, another upweight shot to just peel out the single yellow stone and blank the end. So at halftime, Sweden 4, Denmark 1. And we should be back in action here in the sixth end. Dropped a few guards on us in this game, and this time just throwing a bit too much weight. Sometimes actually you'll see the ice quicken up just a tad after a halftime break. You'll see the ice crew bring out these huge mops. They'll just mop the ice, and there's a lot more dust and debris that gathers on the ice than you would think. And sometimes just mopping the whole sheet takes that off, and you might get a little. Might just keen up a touch. And also they'll put a little pebble around the hack, so sometimes you'll actually kick out a little quicker from the hack just by doing that. I'm not sure if you've had that experience or that feeling yourself.
Yeah, it's good to remind the leads too. It might be a little quick here now, so just keep that in mind. Of course, he's been throwing it to the sweepers this game.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe he's just really trying to give them a break, but definitely having that conversation in the first place is a good one.
Yeah, I couldn't quite hear what they were talking about at halftime, but maybe that was one of the topics.
Yeah.
Like, Max, you're killing us. Killing us out there. So just maybe trying to preserve some energy for the rest of the week. You got another 8 games ahead of them, at least. So definitely
It's a
nice.
long week. That's for sure.
Finding some better wood here, but he's coming maybe a foot too deep. Denmark will try and come around and freeze it. Problem with being behind the tee line is Denmark can freeze it and be shot stone. If that stone was a foot shorter and they freeze it, they would not have shot stone. That's sort of why you want to, generally why you want to keep your stones in front of the tee line.
And of course, Denmark throwing it through, or sorry, peeling out Sweden's rock last end, so maintaining the hammer here in the sixth end. As we said before, we'll do a little quick update again on the other sheets. So Switzerland stealing another point. So they're up 6-1 over Turkey. Scotland stealing 1, so they're up 4-1 over Norway. Canada gave up a steal of 1 to the United States, so they are up. Canada is up 4-2, and Korea giving up another steal. So they are. Russia is up 4-0 over Korea. Few steals given up.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, well, there we go. Great run
Great
back.
shot.
Why not?
Good stone.
Yeah.
Very good stone.
Yeah, runs the Guard back, gets the shot. Stone in the house.
And his 100% statistics continue.
Oh boy.
Having a great game.
Ever played 100%, Allison? You surely would remember. Or do you never? Did you never ever care about the stats? Or
we rarely looked at statistics. I'm sure I did at some point. At least I hope I did at some point. But I really couldn't tell you. We always had a rule that we never looked at statistics during an event because we didn't feel like it helped our performance any.
No.
So, well, it's good for the viewers. Perhaps not as efficient for the players themselves.
Well, for a player or for a team, you're more interested in maybe going back and looking at certain situations of the game, more tactical calls and stuff rather than misses. But there's not much you can do to look back and just see the stones you've missed.
No. Speaking of miss, there's one of the first ones from him this game.
He's not going to make 100.
No.
Oh boy.
So close.
Oh, Denmark's going to come around this center guard, try and make good use of whatever stone's in play.
Kig op, drenge. God fart. God fart.
Nikolaj!
Nikolaj, Jep.
Hele vejen her! Hele vejen, tryk til!
Hårdt, Nikolaj, Jep.
Godt til! Tryk til, Emma!
I like just listening to the calls from the sweepers there. One of them was T-line, maybe.
Well, he can't be wrong then, right?
No, it's
If
true.
it's maybe T-line.
Perhaps
then-
T-line.
Just add that to all your weight calls, and you'll never be wrong.
It seemed like they had the away call down. Stopped right at the T-line there. Just couldn't quite finish off the curl enough. You see left-hand sweeper here, sweeping with the curl, trying to make it just bend a touch more. And the goal curl will have to catch the red stone anyway. Check to the wing. It's one of those discoveries. Directional sweeping is funny because you go back and you watch old curling games and then you see teams just do quite opposite when they should have been doing something else for a lot of shots and sweeping with the curl with a hairbrush when they're trying to hold a line and so on.
Yeah.
It's just crazy how no one's discovered this before and now it's just boomed.
Yeah. Every year there's something new.
Well, curling is a fairly old sport. My first written reference to the curling sport was back in 1546. And the oldest curling stone they found was engraved with the numbers 1511. They found that when they drained out one of the lakes in Scotland, or lochs. So some poor guy
Lost his rock.
yeah, he was curling in June, and then
I don't think he should have been curling out there. So was that thin.
so
But I admire his dedication.
yeah, a lot of fascinating history about curling actually when you go back and look at it.
I can have it nice.
Kan du bedre lide den? Jeg kan lide indlægget. Yes, linje! Åh, T-line, det er jeres! Yes, Nikolaj!
So sweeper's calling T-line, but Skip's just wanting him to sweep for a line, just over bending here. At least want to keep it in the rings, and they have. Better than the back yellow, if anything.
Yeah, great weight. Just really lost the line there.
Körar mycket. Det känns som min var ju typ såhär, den körar inte mycket alltså. Ja, vi tar väl lite så ändå. Ja. Ja.
He's going to be throwing board weight at this.
Lite lösa. Side plus! Jag gav dem mycket. Side plus! Jordan!
Definitely a lot of rotation on Rasmus's throw. That's going to keep the stone fairly straight. And they're actually looking to nose that or even roll a tad towards the board there. Just kind of group the L's a tiny bit. I'm not sure if there's doubles on. Even if you make the double, you might just leave a very easy double right back for Sweden.
Problemet er bare, at jeg kommer ikke til at få den der ud, så er vi nok nødt til at spille på den her. Den her, og så ruller vi hertil. Vi skal ikke have den ud, hva'?
Du har en sten mere, hvis vi nu gemmer den her sted, så de ligger en lettere dobbelt næste gang. Hvis du får den her hernede, så kan de ikke lægge dem op på samme linje igen.
Ja, hvis du får den her ned, så spiller han den. Så har jeg den dobbelt.
Ja. Jeg kan godt lide at flytte den længere ned.
Ja.
Fordi så kommer den længere op, så får du en lettere dobbelt.
Så laver den her.
Ja.
Så spiller han.
Så har han selvfølgelig den der, ikke?
Ja, for nu.
Altså, hvis du lægger den her.
Ja, det skal vi tænke.
Vi kan tænke dig.
2 sekunder. Nej, jeg kan godt lide den her.
Den der?
Ja. Det er okay at ramme for tykt, bare ikke for tyndt. Hvis det er for tyndt, så er det noget møg. Giv mig der. Det behøver ikke at være en dobbelt.
I'm looking at two different calls here. The vice skip in our picture on the left here is thinking, well, if you hit the yellow on the wing, try and roll deeper, make Sweden hit it, we might be left a double for 2, which I'd say made a lot of sense.
Yeah, whereas if you play the other one, you're going to be, just like you said, leaving the double off of the 2 reds on the side. And
so they have not elected to play that, though. The skipper just wanted to play this on the center line. He's going to throw really hard, make the double, or just roll over there. So I'm not sure if he can roll on top of it. I just think it's too flat for that. And he's actually going to roll a bit
to the opposite side.
Yeah. Actually, it's kind of interesting how that stone rolled, actually. He rolled just as much down towards the back line than he did sideways. Not sure if you noticed.
Side! I'm out. Yep. Side! Side plus! Oh, Len. Yep, kör fort. Kör.
So making this little hit and roll here, Sweden, making it perfect.
There is no double there.
And that'd be a very optimistic double.
Yeah.
Og det er første gang, jeg får lov til at spille blødere end 8, er det ikke?
And this is another situation where Denmark will be forced to take 1 point. Playing a nice control weight at this. Something we talked about earlier that we haven't seen too much. But, did not work in his favor in this case.
1 yellow.
So,
1 yellow indeed.
yeah.
So still yellow in for Sweden. That's all just to add to their lead.
Nå, vi starter igen.
5 shots to 1 now after 6 ends, and game's just slowly slipping away from the Danes. But still, spirits are high.
Very important.
Helst in då.
Did your team ever work with a?
Sports psychologist?
Yes.
Yes. We had, her name was Natalie, and she was fantastic. She had us, I think we started working with her early into our junior career. And she definitely really helped us when dealing with, being down or in high pressure situations. I think they're an extremely valuable asset to the team.
Well, not sure if any team here this week have a sports psychologist with them.
Yeah, that would
Certainly.
be interesting to find out.
Yeah. Certainly is a little bit of with funding for a lot of teams. You'd love to bring a physio and a sports psychologist and everything with you, but it's going to cost you.
Yes.
I think we'll just see more and more of that, though, as the sport develops and more money is being put into the sport. As we see a couple of misses here from both front ends. Max Beck throwing the first one through. And now the corner guard from Denmark entering the rings. Not really taking good use of the free guard zone.
No.
Make that clear. Free guard zone works in the way that if you put a guard up, the leads are not allowed to hit that. But as long as the stone's in the house,
Ooh.
you're allowed to do so, as I believe we saw just one of our microphone packs hit the ice. All our apologies. Whose microphone was that?
I believe it was Jordan's.
Was that you or me who mounted that one?
That was you.
Oh boy.
That was you.
Oh boy.
Aha.
It's weird.
That's weird.
I was fairly sure we put it in the pocket with a zipper, so. Oh well.
Faulty zipper then. It wasn't you.
Isn't this team called Team Zip Up?
Oh.
And they have faulty zippers?
Uh-oh.
Oh boy. Yeah, I believe that's a sponsor name for their team on the tour.
Yes.
Well, here he is. Ready to throw the peel. .96% accuracy for Wåhlin. I'm just going to make another mistake here. Definitely don't expect to see those type of shots missed from these Swedes. Throwing that weight, it's almost hard to stick around. Now, again, Denmark's just gonna try and use that guard. come around it. This one looking all deep, but they're more worried about trying to hide it. So just going to bring it down to the back 8. Trying to get it in behind cover. Should be accessible for Sweden though.
Den är lika öppen på båda händerna. Ja.
Axar! Max!
You know, this guy is listed studying math and physics as one of his hobbies and interests.
Him and my boyfriend Frederick should get together. Because I have no interest in that whatsoever. It was never one of my strong subjects.
Well, physics, physics and curling, I mean, they go hand in hand.
Not for me, they don't.
It's all about, well, at least if you're an ice maker, you're trying to become an ice maker, as I believe you just mentioning you were trying to do for the first time. So that's the difference between you and me, Alison, is you would just call your ice maker half hour before practice and you have a prep cheat.
I feel like some sort of spoiled
most
rich
people
kid.
over here, and yeah, exactly, like the Beverly Hills of curling or something. Because we would have to prep our own sheets.
Yes.
Back in my day, we had to do this on our own.
Yeah, so I was up teaching at the curling academy in northern Sweden, and Andreas says, so you'll be doing the ice for them. And I thought, what? We're going to have a problem here.
Here's the scraper, here's the pebble can, and
Yeah, it wasn't pretty.
That's definitely something.
But the students helped me out a lot, so that was good.
The students helped the teacher. That's good. Oh, well.
They needed to. Interesting thing about the Danish team is that they have listed here that they only have between 7 months and 1 year of playing together. So they're a very new team. So being a very new team, I think it's great that they're able to support each other and have such great communication with each other, despite being so fresh.
Oh, nice little draw. Comes around the guard there to be a single heart. You know, this guy is listed bud wrestling as one of his interests.
Yes, that's right.
And the question is that true? Or is that a hoax?
There's a lot of fibs on these sheets. I don't know what to trust anymore.
I believe him.
Do you?
I feel like it's because there's not too many fibs elsewhere on the Danish records. Definitely going to be inquiring about that. As you see this shot from Sweden just over curling and leaving Denmark sitting shot. So great opportunity for Denmark to get some stones in play here. You'll see that red stone is partially covered still by that shooter.
I think Frederick there, knowing that he wasn't going to make the raise back, tried to at least run the guard off a little bit, but kind of caught in the middle. So leaving the guard up and missing the rock in the back.
Tobias, nicknamed Ananas.
Yes, that was
which means pineapple in
peculiar.
Scandinavian.
And we do have a final for you now. So Canada taking an 8-2 victory over the United States. Just clinching a 4-ender in the last end. So that was over quite quickly. Unfortunately for the U.S., they were unable to claw their way back.
I gotta say that's a bit scary, considering how the USA would definitely be one of the outside contenders this week. Very experienced team with Corey Dropkin at skip. And I don't know, Matt Dunstone and the team, they might just, I don't know.
Well, it is the first game.
That's true.
Everyone's kind of getting used to the ice, and perhaps their strategy wasn't as defensive as we're seeing.
Well, I'll put it this way. For every team that's fared playing Matt Dunstone, I don't think that's going to help.
No.
Seeing them
They're
win
extremely
8-2 in their first game. Sweden not being able to make both Reds go, so Denmark's going to still have this draw around the corner and sit 2. Great chance still. Now, Tobias Thune has played a lot of upweight shots so far in the game.
That's true.
Now having to play a draw. Sometimes that's a little bit tricky. He's been studying to become a school teacher. I believe he's going to become a German, English, and sports teacher. That's what he's studying at the moment. He says he can bench press 118 kilos. That's fairly impressive.
That's what he writes.
Just too bad he's a skip then. Not being able to use that. Well,
behind the T line.
Oh, behind the T line, he's great. He's a champion. 223 kilo deadlift is not bad. Should be an ice maker because you have to carry stones a lot.
There you go.
Yeah.
I see.
Oh, yeah.
Bright future.
Strong skip.
That could be a good motivator for the rest of the team then.
Sure. If your skip does the least amount of sweeping is the fittest guy on the team, you're...
Might want to rethink your own fitness.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good thing though for the skip to do that. So set a good example, right?
Be a leader for the team.
I have a feeling your former skip Rachel Holman was not a lazy couch and ice cream type of girl.
No, not at all. She's the opposite. She cannot sit still for 1 second.
All right, so Rasmus Vrano with the outturn here. Slash double, perhaps, on the cards. Going fairly close to that guard, ticking it over. Not all the way out, but in behind that Yellowstone. Leaving Sweden lying shot. So definitely making it tougher for Denmark to score 2. Just needed to... straighten that out another 1/4 inch to make the shot.
Max doing a little dance around the rock, making sure he's not burning it on his way by.
Rammer ydersiden, lige kører den forbi den bagerste. Så får vi 2. Ja, det er uden de kører så meget. Så holder vi den. Ja.
Right, so down to the last one here. Of the 7th end, Denmark finally with a chance to score multiple score. It's going to have to remove this yellow without jamming it at the back. So just playing a more controlled weight. Trying to hit just a touch on the outside here. Sweeping it for a line. Now calling the sweepers off. They've got to be close this one. No. Well, actually over curling. Catch an inside will jam it, and it will be a score of 1 for Denmark. Sometimes when you hear the call on the sweepers and then take him off, you think it's close, but not this time.
It's a big break for Sweden there. Really enforcing their lead now. So having a 3-point lead with the hammer here in the 8th end now.
svært kan det være, og så er det ekstra inde. Så hvis det er egentlig 4 ender i stregen nu, så er den givet barberet. Ja. Så det er jo rimelig nemt. Det gør vi.
Det er planen.
Did you pick up any of that translator in their scrum?
Not quite.
No.
I was fairly distracted with Frederick Newman's bio.
I can understand why. He also likes Tetris, right?
Yeah, that's poem writing and Tetris is his main hobbies. And it's clearly not true.
Well, you never know. You could really like Tetris.
I like Tetris.
See?
Last Christmas, 2 years ago, I bought my mom an original Game Boy from 1989, the old Tetris game.
Wow.
Because she loved to play that. Sort of veering off track here, I feel. Certainly the funniest thing in his bio is listing Hans Neumann as a famous curling relative, and his major and his father's major achievement being ending the Pale Lindholm era.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Topp 12 är bra.
Ja, topp 12, den är där.
Fredrik!
No.
Fredrik! Jag tror vi måste. Ja, här då.
So Sweden with a 3-point lead and last stone here in the 8th end.
Bara där eller?
Should be in control. Puts the stone top 8. And we'll see Denmark try and put up 2 center guards. Just making full use of the free guard zone. When you don't have a hammer, you can put up 2 guards and your opponent won't be able to remove them from play. And you just want to keep these guards separated. Just keep it all in line and good separation.
Sweepers are saying same weight. I did pick up that one, so might need to definitely need to go a bit to get some separation between the 2 rocks.
That's a really good setup play from the lead.
They did have the 1 sweeper on it for a while, so hoping to catch some curl. They did want to line those up straight from each other, so there is a bit of a stagger there, allowing Sweden to get an easier double peel angle.
You know, Nicola Skau's sporting hero is Niklas Edin.
I understand. He's a well accomplished player, that's for sure. And a frequent visitor to our apartment to watch curling games.
Do you have a curling idol? Or had growing up as a junior?
Mark Kennedy was always a second idol for me.
That's a good pick.
Yeah. Just makes everything. You know?
Yeah. Well, he's playing third now.
Yes, yeah. I was saying he can't be a second idol anymore, but he's still definitely up there.
Yeah, Mark Kennedy, obviously the second player for the former Kevin Martin rink, as he won the gold medal in the Vancouver Olympics. But now playing third for Kevin Cooey. Also very successful team.
Clinching their spot into the Olympic trials already.
Mm-hmm. Let's see the upweight again here from Wåhlin. Oh, very close to making the double.
Great try. Really, really close.
godt lide den højt.
So Denmark's going to throw another guard. Try and straighten the two up, so not to leave a staggered position. Just in the, what we call the one zone position, meaning just over the hog line. However, this one looks like it's a little bit short. Let's see if our sweepers can drag it.
Well, far enough.
Great brush.
That's where all that mud wrestling comes into play.
I'm not sure how. Could you explain?
Well, I can imagine mud wrestling is going to be very exhausting. Have you ever wrestled?
No.
No. Well, I can tell you, most boys will have wrestled at some point. It is quite tiring. And in mud too, I can't imagine that helps. So.
No, I would snap in half. That's not the sport for me.
Det er din. Ja.
Yep.
I think Tobias Tuner's just having a look to see how many stones are left there, actually. It's very, very much the case in these type of scenarios where you might do the one thing for a while, just kind of run the stones down, and then you make another move, and you're getting to the back end stones.
So our skipper's got his brush on sheet non-existent 6 right now. Needing to take quite a bit of ice on this, but it does look like he's a little bit tight.
Well, what I heard talking to Sweden before the game is there's a bit of a slope on the board. So actually, if you take more ice, you might even get more curl, because the wider you go, you're just kind of catching more curl. And that's...
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's true. I guess so, if they told me. But I definitely have experienced that myself.
Yeah.
On different sheets, where the more ice you take, the more curl you're getting. So
You'll definitely find that to be quite common on the board side sheets of most curling rinks.
that's not necessarily something every team here has experience with. Just playing with all these type of different patterns.
Definitely a challenge.
Yeah.
But it's a challenge for both teams.
Sure. Would you say playing in all different clubs and arenas and different ice surfaces and conditions is a good thing?
Definitely. Gives you more experience and allows you to really get a handle of it the next time that you encounter it. And the more conditions that you have, I think, the better. Even though it can be extremely frustrating sometimes. But oy, doesn't look happy there.
Nikolaj.
I'm not sure why he's too upset. Seemed to be a nice card.
Yeah, it didn't. Not sure. It was almost right out of his hand. He looked like he was giving up. So I think he thought it was worse than it actually was. But we do have another game update for you. So Russia won 7-2 over Korea, stealing another 2 points. So Korea deciding to forfeit the game and try for it on the next one.
Fredrik Nyman just peeling the guard here on our featured sheet. Denmark still just going to put up the guard in front of their shot stone.
Henrik!
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 God retning, hvor er vi? Nikolaj! Nikolaj!
Another nice guard by Denmark. We'll see if Sweden feels like they want to do something else here. Just keep running the guard off. They got a fairly simple shot to score one. If this continues, let's play that yellow tap for score. So I guess they're quite content doing that.
Absolutely. 1 point here really seals the deal. Well, gives you control at least.
Ja. Bra.
Det var her, ikke?
Ja. Det skal du helst kunne huske. Så siger jeg samme i, så siger jeg.
And he's just going to look to replace the guard, put it back to where it was before.
Er det ikke sådan, man skifter?
Ja, det skulle også sådan, jeg fejrer. Var det den samme is, jeg fik før? Ja, lidt.
Fik du ikke lidt mindre?
Ja, det synes jeg nemlig også. Ja, okay, roligt.
Jep, Henrik!
Jep, Henrik!
Henrik, jep!
Just a little bit of a panic here from Denmark. Might be over curling here. He's going to enter the rings. I don't think they mind it being a little tight to the rings.
Well, it's making Rasmus think a bit.
Yeah. Could just peel out the shot zone, see enough of it. Score 2. Either that or just play the tap. Question is, do you need to? One is probably good enough.
I like the tap here.
Yeah, I think that's what
He's going to do.
I think that was what Fredrik said to Rasmus, just saying doesn't really make a difference if you score 1 or 2 here, just want to score. So.
Knacka in, dubbelknacken. De ligger helt lås, alltså mot varandra. Så typ,
kan man bara ta bort det?
Ja, man kan det, men alltså tar vi poäng här så har vi vunnit typ. Så den här är lättare tycker vi.
Ja, visst.
Bakåtta.
I think so too. A little bit easier of a call of a shot. And 2 here was obviously the goal. 1's great. The steal here is really not okay. So.
Yeah, and when they're so frozen onto each other, it's pretty much just playing T line weight here, and should be good.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of the energy will come off come off having to tap a couple stones, but I think you'll see enough action here. There we go. Very nice little tap by Swedish skip Rasmus Vrano. And Sweden then very much in control with a 4-point lead with 2 ends to go.
Det är ingen som är i närheten att klara sig lite. Alltså allt annat klarar ju. Vi klarar sattyg där, utom dina stenar. Skit i det då.
Ja, vi låg ju också till tån för. Vi skulle bara spela igen.
Ska du inte säga att du är känd för att köra lite?
Infärda på grund av
Vi fick bara ett liv för.
John Morris.
Topp 4! Jag antar att det är hellre hård.
The other game still in the 8th end, so we'll have you updated as soon as we get them our way.
Håller rent på.
Släpp den ganska mjukt va?
Jag tror den är bra. Ja, lite mjuk.
Nej, jag är med om du snackar mitten bara nu.
Topp 4, full 4. Den är där.
Kolla upp, det är
Bra
bästa bedömning
linje.
jag har.
Bra linje, bara fart.
Den är bak.
Ja, säg wow då.
Det är bra.
Ja.
Max Beck find back the forfeit. That's not too bad. Yeah. Generally, you think you want to put your stone top 4, but
Ja, det är bra.
I know some teams they put their stone back 4 on purpose, just because if you put it top 4, it acts like a guard and you could come around it.
Interesting.
Going back 4, well, you're thinking, well, then they can freeze and be shot stone, but a freeze in this day and age doesn't really do much. You're going to have to play perfectly, and there's still a high chance to just peel it out.
Yep.
While coming around the stone, back 4, no, sorry, back 12, and be 6 feet behind another stone. You're forced to play the run back. It's a much tougher shot than just blasting a peel, freeze.
Especially when looking at these 2 skips, both extremely talented.
Yep.
Can throw a ton of weight, so
Lite mjukare.
I can understand.
Ja, lite mjukare.
Det känns bra. 8.
They're putting another stone in the house, though. Not sure if that's quite necessary when they're 4 up to put both the lead rocks in the house. I think you might see some teams just throw this one through and just to keep it a little more simple. Denmark might be able to use these yellows. Maybe tap on back and create a little nest.
Tæt. Wow, meget tæt.
Tæt forkant.
Meget tæt.
Tæt forkant.
Ren, Henrik, ren.
Tæt forkant.
Er det så tosset?
2, tæt.
Tæt forkant.
Ej, vi er tæt forkant.
Sit.
Okay.
Sit der nu.
Nej, men altså, han spillede den rigtige farve. Okay, kom igen.
Ja. Pænt.
Ta den här så bara.
Normal eller?
Normala. Max, jävlar. Jag kör Max. Hårt, hårt.
Kom igen. Kom igen.
So you'll see Rasmus Vrano actually sweep his own stone out of the house. Just like mentioned, more stones in play, more complicated it might be for Sweden. So no need to keep too many of the yellow stones around either. They're not looking to score. They're just looking to prevent Denmark from scoring.
T-line. Forkant 10.
Tobias! Yes!
T-line.
Ja!
T-line. Farten er der. Farten er der.
Farten er god. Godt.
Okay.
Hold kæft, de sætter sig ikke, de gør.
de kører bare. Det var det.
Ja, garden om vi kan ta dem.
Ta från det hållet. Men så då, eller? Det spelar ingen roll. Ja, kör så. Det blir jättebra.
Indian. Nej, ja.
Okay, so.
So not exactly getting the hit and roll off like he had hoped. Doesn't look too happy with that, but got another game update. Switzerland taking a 2 in the 8th end, bringing them to a 9-2 victory over Turkey.
Kom nu begge to. At vi har. Yes! Okay. Kom forsøg.
Okay, den var der ikke helt.
Ja, rimelig.
Tæt ligger det.
Sweden's just going to peel this redstone out in the wing. Just keeping it simple. Even if they give up 2 here, they're quite happy, actually. They'll still have a 2-point lead and hammer for the 10th end, so.
Jag tror skickning.
Men vi skal ind til den her på et tidspunkt. Jeg går lige frysen.
Okay.
Kan helt selv.
Hvor meget er det?
10-line. 8 bag.
Klar.
Smuld langt.
Klar.
Langt.
Henrik! Henrik! Wow. Er langt fra. Yep, Henrik.
Ja.
Wow. Okay, jeg kan godt lide det.
Okay.
So, makes a little tap there. I think they're probably looking to tap that redstone onto the back hill. Doesn't quite do that, but doesn't leave any simple double for Sweden.
Spela normal.
They're certainly not going for a double here, just going to play a little hit and roll off the top one. Try and get to the inside. And pretty much what they called.
Bra skip. Ja, det blev ju... Vad sa du? Det blev ju bra. Ja, visst.
Makes it a little hard for Denmark to get a second point in here with those 2 yellow stones in front, just kind of controlling the forfeit area.
Yeah, exactly. So we talked a little bit about trying to keep it open, but at this point, they're controlling the front of the house, so favor for Sweden in this case.
For hårdt.
Jeg kan godt lige bare tage den her, så lige rulle herover.
Ja.
Ej, vi spiller dobbelt. 10.
10.
Jeg er ikke så vild med den.
Skal vi...
Og 10.
So electing to play a double here, just feeling like playing a freeze at the top here might not do them any good. Might be a little too late to do that, I guess. So playing a double here. This one seems to be over curling though. And I have to tell you, that's not a good result.
That is not what he wanted.
Not what a doctor ordered.
No.
Sorry.
But the high fives are still there.
Yeah.
They're keeping the positivity, keeping the momentum.
Vi kommer ner om vi bara inte ligger framför den här.
Ja, det är typ bättre att frysa nästan.
Kanske bättre än uppe. De kan ju stå och dricka även om de fryser.
Ja, men precis. Härifrån, dit.
Yeah, he's just having a really tough game, isn't he?
Yeah, he was playing a little better after halftime, I think, but that miss is tough.
That's one to remember. Hopefully he doesn't.
Härifrån, hit. Okej.
Now Sweden lying 3. And so Denmark really only has 2 stones left, and they can afford to give up 2. They don't mind just drawing here.
Yeah, they're just going to go top 4, I believe.
Yeah, it's still going to be very hard for Denmark to generate a deuce. Solid game, 92% for the Swedish skip.
Rent då. Bara rent. Bara rent då. Rent bara.
Helst inget! Det är det här! Då slänger du 10!
Ja, max om någon. Max om någon. Max om någon.
Bredd.
Nej,
Ingenting. Sitt.
These guys have really good communication going down the ice.
Ja.
Lots of talking. Really good to hear.
I think I found a decent spot too.
Problemet er, altså selv hvis vi skubber den her ned, så ruller den ikke bedre end den der. Så han kommer til at ligge med 3. Og den får jeg ikke væk.
Er der plads
Men
til?
problemet er, hvis jeg spiller på de 2, så ligger den åben. Det er fucking ligegyldigt. Det er i hvert fald uhyre svært at få mere end 1.
Skal vi...
Jeg tror bare, vi skal forsøge at få fat i 1. Vi får ikke 2 på den her.
Nej.
Så vi spiller dobbelt, så har jeg indlægget til sidst.
Dobbelt.
Ja. Så jeg kan godt lide at... Jeg vil faktisk godt stikke den. Det vil se godt ud.
Altså lige på?
Ja, det gør vi. Men jeg kan godt lide den... Jeg skal ikke bare nøjes med en 10'er.
10.
So Tobias Tuna not thinking they can score 2 here, so it's just want to make sure he's getting his one. I'd say you could probably play all hit and roll off that stone just played by Rasmus and roll in between the L's and maybe get second shot.
And what is it they came to a decision on here?
Just going to play the double, straight double. Have you noticed Tobias's left hand, all the tape he has?
I did.
I wonder if that has anything to do with him playing rugby in his spare time.
Uh-huh. Good eye.
Yes!
Could be. I assume if he's... Oh. I was going to say if he's broken some fingers or something, he's more likely to have done that playing rugby rather than curling.
Oh,
This one just over curling.
Oh.
And the score of 2 is definitely out the window. And it's clear to see that the Danes are already sort of realizing defeat and seem to be almost already over the loss or the eventual loss.
Laughing a bit and joking around back there.
Yeah, and probably won't have too hard of a time getting over this game. Sometimes that's nicer, as when you finally shake hands, you're actually already over the game.
Yeah. Instead of the shock of...
Yeah, those tight games where you think you're going to win and you lose, it slips away from you in the very last second. And
those aren't fun.
No.
Byt, ja. Mata. Kom igen. Kom igen. Kom igen. Längre. Bra.
So, another nice draw there. And the question is, how are you scoring your single? Is there enough curl to get to the button, you think?
I gotta skinny that, but then again, it is curling quite a bit, so I think you can try and warp it in. I doubt you're gonna grab a piece of the button.
I think if I was him, just try and make a quadruple or something. Make the highlight reel. That's a good chance. I don't know. Is there a quadruple? There might be. I think. Well. No?
I don't. Yeah, let's look again.
I wasn't putting all of my enthusiasm and careful eye to it. I wonder if you...
Gone down to take another peek, perhaps?
I don't think you were scoring when playing the quadruple or anything, but
no.
It's more for fun. You know, end with a bang, as they say.
That would definitely be ending with a bang.
We know it can throw really hard, so.
That's true. Is he thinking maybe he can helicopter it in? Quick and straight through? No?
So Denmark's called a coach interaction here. We'll get a few words with our coach.
Perhaps. Yeah, there we go.
Så der er nærmere en firedobbelt, end der er et drag. Ja, på indersiden af den gule der, og så over hovedet på den der, snit den der ud, tag den der. Ja. Det er, jeg ved ikke. Altså, det skal eddermame tæt rundt om garden. Den er der mere end indlægget, tror jeg. Altså, det er også ligegyldigt. Selv hvis vi kun fik en, så har vi givet op. Vi skulle have 2 i den her ende, og det har vi ikke fået, så det er ligegyldigt. Ja, vi spiller den bare, det er ligegyldigt.
Coach Bo Kleinman providing some words of wisdom, perhaps?
Just allowing them to play the big shot.
There you go. Words of wisdom.
They're gonna
throw it hard.
It's hard down the center line, see what happens. Let's say, well, it's gonna get something moving. That's for sure. There we go. A little extension too. Yeah, there we go. Tobias 2-0. Last stun of the 9th end for Team Denmark. See how many yellows he can spill. Actually catching the guard there, maybe just overthrowing it a tiny little bit. And Sweden will steal 4. And the game is over. Sweden will pick up a win here. Move to 1-0. Denmark 0-1. As you see the scoreline. Final score 10 shots to 2.
And you can see over on the side there, we have one game still going on. So we've got Scotland and Norway. We have Scotland taking 1 in the 9th end there. So they're up 7-4 over Norway here in the 10th.
And the other final scores, would you like to just refreshen our memories?
Of course. So on sheet A, we had Switzerland and Turkey. Switzerland beating Turkey 9-2. On sheet C, we had Canada and the United States. Canada taking the victory at 8-2 over the US. And Korea and Russia. Russia winning with 7-2 over Korea.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
If you stick around, we'll have some highlights from our future game between Denmark and Sweden. And also a few words with our winning skip, Rasmus Vrano. First end of our future game between Denmark and Sweden. It would be a skip of Sweden, Rasmus Vrano, with just an out-turn draw to the wing, like he did with his first one. It would be to score 2 and lead the game after one end of play. After a blank in the second, we skip along to the third, Sweden lying 2. It is Danish skip Tobias Thune facing 2 yellow counters, but making a great double and stick to score his 1, but trailing Sweden by 1 after 3 ends of play. In the fourth end, we saw another simple task ahead of Rasmus Vrano. Just the out-turn draw to hit the paint and score another 2 to be in control of the game with a 3-point lead, 4 shots to 1, after having played 4 ends of curling. And just before the halftime break, in the fifth, we saw Danish skip Tobias Thune with the upright shot, just to peel out the yellow and blank the end. Still trailing by 3 at halftime. And when we came back in the sixth end, we would see Denmark again being faced with 2 yellow stones in the house, trying to hit and stick for their single, but on this occasion rolling out, leaving Sweden a steal of 1. Sweden then with a 5 shots to 1 lead before the seventh end. In the seventh, Denmark finally had a good chance to score a multiple score. Thune just over curling on his in turn, jamming at the back, only picking up a 1. And the eighth end, Denmark line shot as Rasmus Vrano just looking for a delicate little tap on his yellows. And he gets to the button with his yellow rock to score 1. Still in control with a 4-point lead before entering the ninth end. Bunch of yellows in play. Denmark really trying to get something going on his last stone, just trying for the hero shot to make everything fly. Not quite able to do so, and Sweden steals 4. Final line score 10 shots to 2 for Sweden.
Congratulations on your win. So starting off with a win on the board, how did it feel coming into this game?
It felt really good. All of the team was prepared very well and played very well as well. So it's a good game.
It's a pretty deep field this year. How do you like your team's chances going forward?
We like our chances. We have had a good season and we're coming up even bigger. So we like our chances.
You're playing Canada tomorrow morning. What will you take from this game going into tomorrow's match?
Just a solid performance throughout the whole game. Maybe one end wasn't that good, but all other was great. So,
thank you very much and congratulations.
Thank you.
You will be able to join us again for the evening's draw and the second draw of the women's competition. We'll have Sweden face off against Canada at 1900 hours local time on sheet A. So thank you for joining us.